Yo, man, what's going on? Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. I'm not going to lie to you guys, man. I'm sick to my stomach. I can't believe Klay Thompson betrayed us like that. I can't believe it, man. I can't believe it. It don't sit well with me, him being in the Dallas Mavericks uniform. You know, the vengeful asshole in me, I'm like, nah, I don't really want to say it, but I kind of hope he gets injured over there. Nah, I'm just joking, man. I shouldn't say that, man. Thank you for the memories, Klay. Thank you for the memories. You laid bricks on your final game. Had you made those 10 shots, you're probably on a winning team. Instead of going to another team that made it to the finals and you winning another chip, could have stayed with your boy Steph and Draymond and try to make another impeccable run. But, he took a different route. He wanted to be different. He didn't see the value. So he signs a 3-year deal worth $50 million. In the past year, the Warriors offered 2 years, $48 million. I mean, I'm not going to lie, but what a scumbag. But it is what it is. It's his decision, his career. He's going to live with it. And I hope that the Warriors don't waste the final years of Steph Curry. Hopefully they are able to land Zach LaVine and bring in DeMar DeRozan. I don't know, man. And give up a few draft picks to pick up De'Aaron Fox from Sacramento Kings. I don't know. I think one of the biggest mistakes is we let go of Jordan Poole, or we traded him to the Washington Wizards, when that should have been Draymond. Draymond is responsible for the departure, essentially, of Jordan Poole when he's punched them in his face. And then, obviously, Kevin Durant, when he was like, oh, this is Steph's team, whatever the case may be, man. Got a lot of disgruntled employees or whatever the case may be in terms of anything that's involved with Draymond. So it just sucks because I know that if Chicago and Michael Jordan were the dominant force in the 90s, 34 years after the fact, the Chicago Bulls still cannot find another version of a Michael Jordan and succeed and create a dynasty in this modern era, then I know this is the best Golden State Warriors team that will probably ever exist, at least a minimum of 30 years. When we tied or broke the Chicago Bulls' record and we were up 3-1 against LeBron and the Cavs, this might be the best time to be alive as a Golden State Warriors fan. Maybe the Indiana Pacers with Halliburton and Siakam, Pascal Siakam or whatever, however you pronounce his name. But yeah, man, Klay's gone and well, fucking sucks. Anyway, happy Tuesday. Be that as it may, Stowe. I don't know, man. I don't really know how I feel about it. It's peculiar. It's strange. I don't really know what to make of it, man. But on that sad note, yeah, man, just strange. Sucks. It really sucks. Even if Klay wasn't the same player as before, it doesn't mean that he couldn't succeed. But yeah, man, it kind of sucks right now to be, Klay Thompson is one of the integral parts. He's one of the splash bros. He's one of the reasons why we had a lifted spirit in the Bay Area. That's essentially what coddled him to from not a child, but early adulthood into, middle age. And Klay decided to start anew. He wanted to start fresh with a different team. And I think he's going to succeed, honestly. All jokes aside, I think he's going to succeed. I don't know how good he's going to be over there in Dallas. Obviously, his best years are behind him. He left it all with the Golden State Warriors. I'm never going to forget when he injured his Achilles or his ACL and he still shot those free throws. Not going to forget those 40-point, 20-something fourth quarter points that he dropped when he set the three-point record for how many threes made in a game, and then Curry, like, soon after beat it. Whatever the case may be, that was a beautiful time to be alive, so to speak. He's definitely going to be missed. But those are going to be a long 3 years. I'm a Giants fan, right? So it's like watching Brandon Crawford go play in a different uniform, or Buster Posey, or Tim Lincecum when he was with the Los Angeles Angels, Anaheim Angels. Bro. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be. Sorry, I forgot to play the video in the background. My boy Angel Maravillo, I was talking to him the other day, and he got paid to be one of the main sparring partners for Sergey Bohachuk, who's going to be fighting Virgil Ortiz. My boy Jorge Maravillo out of Salinas, he's Sergey Bohachuk's one of his sparring partners. That's incredible, man. I had to salute to him. He's came a long way when we used to train out of Coach Rick's gym in Arcadio. Proud of him. I'm extremely proud of him, and man, I wish he had like an OnlyFans boxer account where he would post that footage, that sparring footage. That would be badass. Or, Patreon or his own YouTube or whatever's. But yeah, the kid in blue and white, that's Jorge Maravillo. I think he was 15, 16 years old now, and I think he's 24 now. So 7 years ago. Now he's Sergey Bohachuk's main sparring partner in preparation for the Virgil Ortiz fight. Fucking A. What a small world. Canelo Alvarez. I'm not going to lie, man. I'm very critical of him, but it's because I thoroughly admire his career. I admire his business savviness. To me, Juan Manuel Marquez is my favorite fighter, but in terms of accomplishments, Canelo is probably the best Mexican that ever lived. He's definitely one of the best defensive, responsible ones, with so many creativity and tricks up his sleeve. I always like to go watch the Triple G Part 2 fight. What an incredible fight, man. The Caleb Plant fight has so much replay value. Even the Erislandy Lara and Austin Trout fight, he's always had amazing fights. And if I ever want to see a modern day version of not Sugar Ray Robinson and Duran, of a Tommy Hitman Hearns versus Marvin Hagler, I go watch Canelo versus James Kirkland. That's a badass fight. Just go watch. It's like 9-12 minutes. Incredible. Shout out to James Kirkland, man. Had he stayed with Ann Wolf, who knows where that man would have been right now. Probably in the pound for pound rankings. That dude had a motor. He had a temperament. Man. One of my favorite fights to go watch where I'm like, that's marvelous. Marvin Hagler versus Tommy the Hitman Hearns. Canelo Alvarez versus James Kirkland. That's a badass, entertaining fight, man. Love that fight. It's quick to the point. You only imagine and ask yourself, what had James Kirkland had Ann Wolf and not been on that layoff? Where could he have been at the end of his career? So I got to pose and ask this question. How is Canelo going to end the rest of his career? Is he going to end it with a bang or a whimper? Right? Is he, we talked about this so many times, and I hate to, keep repeating the same drum, keep banging on it, and it's not a different echo, but at the end of the day, it's like, who do you guys want to see him fight? Because I'm not going to lie to you. I'm interested in Canelo versus Edgar Berlanga just as much I was interested in Canelo versus Jaime Munguia. I mean, those are pretty much the same resume and records. Like it's the same fighter. Berlanga is basically the same as Jaime, right? I think Berlanga hits definitely harder than Jaime, but Jaime throws more punches. But Jaime has always looked vulnerable in a lot of fights. He was getting beat by Gary Coley. Wait, not Gary Coley. Um, what was his name? Not Andy Lee, but one of them like from Ireland. Jaime Munguia has always looked, quote unquote, he's always gotten exposed, but he always digs down deep. And he finally made the proper coaching adjustment and signed with Freddie Roach. And now he's gonna become amazing. Oh, I believe. Jaime is probably 26, 28 years old, but be that as it may, him and Edgar Berlanga are very similar. I'm extremely interested in that fight versus Canelo Alvarez. I don't think Berlanga is going to beat Canelo, but I think if once Edgar gets that paycheck, I believe that's after the fact, after that fight, depending on his performance, that's when I believe Edgar Berlanga's career is actually going to start. You guys get what I'm saying? Like Jaime Munguia, we know that he's always been searching for that Canelo Alvarez fight. But now that he got the fight and now that he developed a fan base and people know of him and people liked his efforts and it went to the distance and he did his best Canelo-like impression to fight the veteran, like when Canelo fought Floyd, Jaime fought Canelo, he's going to gain a lot of invaluable knowledge, experience, game plan, strategy. And now this second half after he got beat, his second half of his career, Jaime, that is, I'm extremely interested what happens after that fact, after his first loss. Same thing with Edgar Berlanga. Once Edgar fights Canelo and he loses, probably gets knocked out or whatever the case may be, I think that's when a lot of these guys' careers are going to start. Because right now, everyone's circumventing the tough fights because they haven't gotten that paycheck. They're trying to protect their zero. But once that O is gone, then their career finally starts. Now they can be like, all right, dude, I got the mega fight that I was looking for. I got that quote unquote generational wealth where I can, put some money into an IRA account. I can make some investments. I can buy real estate, whatever the case may be. I secure the bag. Now let me build my career. What is my legacy going to be? And I believe they're going to continue to move certain ways, but to get the biggest fights happen and possible. You guys get what I'm saying? In case in point, Caleb Plant. Right. Sorry, man. I'm a little nervous. I haven't really ate, and I'm like on 2 cups of coffee, and shit, I feel like I'm super jittery, man. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I apologize if my speech is a little slurred or my sentences are sounding like Joe Biden. I'm a little all over the place, feeling jittery right now. I fucking hate this feeling. I don't know what I'm doing. But Caleb Plant. See, Caleb Plant, after he beat and upset Jose Uzcategui and dropped him twice and went the distance on a very entertaining fight. Beautiful left hooks by Caleb Plant. He ended up fighting this guy named Fagin Butts, Mike Lee from the Subway commercials, and Caleb Truax. And the reason he fought those guys is because he was just fighting his quote-unquote mandatories because he was waiting for that Canelo payday. As Canelo settles the dust and beats all of these champions, Caleb is like, I got to preserve my O. I got to preserve this title. I got to get the Canelo sweepstakes, and then my career is going to start, right? Then I'm going to fight David Benavidez. Then I'm going to call Danny Jacobs and go after all of these other fighters that are on my way to get to another Canelo Alvarez fight. I think that same mentality is going to happen with Jaime, David Benavidez, Edgar Berlanga and company. Once they secure the bag, the weight is off their shoulders that they got that money fight. Now, boom, let me go after my legacy. Now that I got the money, let me go after my legacy. So then you ask yourself, is Canelo going to end it with a bang or a whimper? Well, I can ask that same question in regards to Terrence Bud Crawford. How is Crawford going to end his career? Is it with a bang or is it a whimper? Because, there's levels to this game, right? And I'm not talking about like, Canelo, like Bud Crawford stands no chance against Canelo, whatever the case may be. I'm just saying that from this notion, right? If you've already are a Hall of Famer, first ballot, if you've already in the history books because you became undisputed and you already made a lot of money, like what more can you possibly achieve? You already had an amazing career and longevity, right? So what more can you possibly achieve, right? Let's say, for instance, you are Tom Brady. You win all of these Super Bowls. You have a supermodel wife. At the end of the day, what is left for Tom Brady in terms of a career? Maybe to be an owner of an organization, maybe an owner of the New England Patriots, or is it to, because I think that's what he's going after, right? I think he's trying to be an owner or a part-time owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Does he become a head coach? What's left when you are Canelo Alvarez or when you're Bud Crawford? See, Canelo, they're accomplished all of these things, right? I'm not saying their life is complete, but from a career standpoint, they reached the hilltop. So is Canelo interested in fighting a Bud Crawford, an Edgar Berlanga, a David Benavidez? Like, what is left for these guys' careers? Would you rather, them retire right now? Like, boom, hey guys, I did everything that I needed to do in the sport of boxing, or is there more? Do you chase 100 total fights, 70, 80? These are always some very interesting questions. Not trying to put you guys in those people's shoes or try to live through them vicariously, but it's always been an interesting phenomenon for me. It's like, once you are the Steven Spielberg of cinema, right? What is there left to possibly do? I don't know, man. Yo, Drew, I didn't even know you were here, man. Mic check real quick. I apologize, but
Nah, man, it's because I'm eating right now. But yeah, man, what's up, man? How you doing?
yo, what's going on, man? How you been, dog?
Good, man. Good. I don't like your title.
Well,
I don't like
Canelo
it.
refuses to fight Crawfish and the monstro from Arizona. Why not,
Oh,
man?
it's funny. It's funny. The crawfish part is funny. I was like crawfish,
What about the
but
monstro from Arizona?
yeah. Like all that's cool. All that's cool. But um, no, no, it's not the title. My bad. It's your band, like your picture. You have like you say, could Bud beat David? And I'm like, no, man, don't say that. Like, don't even say it. Don't even ask it. Like, I don't like the fight, bro. Like, I stand on keeping boxing in order. You know, it's
Okay.
more
First and
realistic.
foremost, Drew, let me ask you this: what are you eating, bro? That shit sounds a bomb.
Subway. You can what? Oh, it's a Subway. I mean, it's like a spicy Italian. It's just a bunch of pepperoni, and then it has like I put hella like veggies in it. Um, bell pepper, spinach, onion, jalapeno,
Stop right there, bro. You're making me hungry,
lettuce.
bro. I'm running on E right now, empty stomach.
Bro, I'm gonna go eat, man.
Yeah, I got like an hour left at work, so
Mm.
But all right.
You're
So let me
set, bro.
ask you this: if because a lot of people think that Bud can actually beat Canelo Alvarez, right? A lot of people
Hmm.
actually believe Danny Jacobs in a recent interview on Fight Hype or Fight Hub. He said, "Look, man, Bud's got the skills to beat Canelo Alvarez." So if that's the case, and if everybody favors Canelo to beat David Benavidez, then by triangular theory, Bud should be able to beat David as well.
No, dude.
Because we know that
Maybe,
Canelo is better than David, right? So if
dude.
Canelo,
Honestly,
5'8" and short arms, can beat David, why couldn't Crawford, who's taller and have longer arms, be able to beat David?
um, it's just they're gonna realize he's gonna realize how much weight classes matter. Um, who's that dude that knocked down Gavril? Does he punch? Does Gavril punch harder than Bud? Do you
Absolutely not.
think
But you got to also
you what?
this. Absolutely not. Or like Ronald Garro does not hit harder than Bud Crawford. Bud Crawford's a fucking knockout artist, bro.
No, dude. It's I'm saying pounds per square inch. Ronald Graville Ronald Graville is less tenacious, I guess. Like he doesn't he doesn't have like that dog in him like Bud does. But if you were to have them both sit on their punches, Ronald Graville does definitely punch harder than Bud Crawford. Like that's just it's just like it's physics, bro. Like he is 168 fully fledged, capable of probably moving up to 175. You know, if
Let me
it's
ask
just
you this. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Bivol is way bigger than Canelo Alvarez, right? Does he hit harder than Canelo?
are you making this about a height thing or
No, no,
weight
no.
class thing?
I'm just saying because you're saying like you're making it about a size thing. You know,
Yeah,
so Bivol is way bigger than Canelo Alvarez. He's taller, he's longer, he's got more bone. He probably walks
not
around
girth.
120
I'm talking
pounds.
about girth.
But Canelo hits way harder than Bivol, right? So Ronald Gabriel, yeah, he's bigger than Bud Crawford, but he don't hit harder than Bud Crawford. For example, Tank Davis hits harder than Errol Spence, right? So what I'm trying to say is like
That's not too far
I
fetched though.
understand that you're saying that these guys are bigger men, but
That's a bad example
what do you mean?
because that's not too far fetched. Like we're talking about three weight classes and a dude that came up from 135, Bud Spence started out at 147.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And I think Team Davis started at 126, 130.
yeah, but nah, I just don't see it. It's just what's his name? Tank.
Well,
He's
let
only
me
moved
just
up.
answer the simple question though. Does Canelo hit harder than Bivol?
Does Canelo hit harder than Bivol?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
Okay. So does Tank per singular punch, does he hit harder than Errol Spence?
Yeah,
Okay. So then why couldn't Bud Crawford hit harder than Ronald Gabriel?
because Ronald Graville, I think he's fought in at 175, at 168.
Let me
And
ask
we've
you
seen
this.
how he.
All right, another point. Does Bud Crawford hit harder than Billy Joe Saunders?
Mm, I
Why
don't
you so
know.
hesitant? Like, bro, Bud Crawford hits fucking hard, bro. You do know
Yeah,
he hits
but
fucking hard, right? Like he's fucking strong, bro.
yeah, but I also I don't know. I just feel like what's his name? What the dude you just said right now. It's hard to think and eat, but you know,
I'll give you a pass.
uh,
I'll give you a pass. Well, let me make it
yeah.
simple for you, bro. Let me think. Bud Crawford, if we look at the guys at 154, okay? Now, I don't know what Bud Crawford's punch tolerance and his resistance to the guys at 154 are going to be, but he hits harder than Madrimov, right? He hits harder than Tim Su. At 160, Bud Crawford hits harder than Carlos Adames and Terrell Gausha. I don't know if he's better than Jani Beck Alam Kanalai. That dude has amazing uppercuts. But I would wager that Bud Crawford hits harder than Billy Joe Saunders. You know what I'm saying?
At what weight?
I would also say that Bud Crawford. Let me see what Bud Crawford's best punch, in my opinion. Oh, see, that's a tough question. What would be his best punch? But I'm gonna say either his check right hook is really good, or I'm gonna say I'm gonna say his right hook is Bud Crawford's best punch. I don't know. I
Hmm.
just like the way he controls the lead hand. I think that's his best punch. You guys might say the uppercut. I can probably give that one, but I think as a two-handed fighter, Bud Crawford hits harder than Caleb Plant. But I will say this: Caleb Plant's left hook is super good and is super strong. But that's about all he's got. You know what I mean? Like, but
Wait, so
don't
does
have a right cross for nothing. You know what I mean?
random question? Can Caleb beat Bud? If since we're talking 168 pounders,
I would like to see it. I would like to see it. You
I
see,
don't
to
think
your
so.
point, you said that you don't want to cut corners. I agree with that statement. I don't want Bud just to go straight to Canelo. I would like him to climb up the ladders again, because that's hypothetically speaking. I would like for Bud to continue to test all these weight classes and then get to Canelo. I don't want to see him leapfrog like Jermell Charlo did. You know,
Hmm.
so if Bud does things properly and not cut corners, then he has to fight like a Caleb Plant or a David Benavidez to get to Canelo, right? Then he can be like, see, guys, I fucking been telling y'all, I'm a fucking force. I'm somebody you have to deal with. I'm a problem at 168. You can't just go from beating my boy Errol Spence and just be like, hey, just because I beat Errol Spence, let me get to Canelo. To your point, you like weight classes matter. You can't just hop from 47 to 68 and think 21 pounds don't matter. But if he does not cut corners and he does it the proper way, start at 154, beat an undefeated Madrimov prospect, go to 160, beat Carlos Adames like he will do. And let's say he goes to 168 and fights like a Caleb Plant, a David Benavidez. You start asking these questions like, okay, then shit, maybe we underappreciated this dude and maybe he can beat Canelo. But to your point, leapfrogging 21 pounds is a fucking joke, right? But that's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to tell you. It's like, I like Bud Crawford, but out of all of those guys that I told you, like for sure, he definitely punches harder than Ronald Gabriel. Remember that punch that he hit David Benavidez with? It was mostly David's footing was horrible, and he just got caught with essentially like a jab right on the chin, and he just fell down. He wasn't wobbled. He didn't do the chicken dance like Miguel Cotto's brother had Canelo from one post of the ring to the other. Like none of that. David got right back up. He smiled. He was like, huh, nice little sneaking little jab right there. You know what I'm saying? I will also say this. Nah, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that. I was gonna
What?
be stupid. I was gonna be like, you know what? I'm gonna even double down and say Bud hits harder than David.
Mm.
Nah,
Nah.
that's ridiculous, bro.
Yeah, I think
What you have to
I
understand is this: Bud Crawford doesn't really throw a lot of combinations. David does. See, Crawford he's always been a sniper, right? Counter puncher. He
Mhm.
can come forward, but even when he fought Mean Machine, it wasn't a lot of combinations. It was a lot of punches at time. It's very unpredictable. He changes his rhythm. You know, David Benavidez is a volume puncher. Crawford is not. So singular puncher, like Bud is very similar in terms of throwing minimal punches, kind of like Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez, when he started fighting guys like Josecito Lopez, James Kirkland, Perro Angulo, Canelo used to throw a shit ton of punches. He was
Yeah.
all he was volume, bro. And then as he got
Yeah.
older and he got stronger, then he just became this amazing counter puncher, step back uppercuts, slipping and rolling, and he just became a bruiser, you know. But had he had you up against the ropes, like when he fought Callum Smith, and you take Canelo of 154, like he had Josecito on the ropes, he's throwing a bunch of combinations as he got, and he had to change it up because as he got up in weights, he realized these men were extremely strong, extremely big, and he couldn't just leave himself open to counter punches, right? So he had to keep his punch output to a minimum so he can be in position to
Ah.
block, parry, and roll shots. He don't have to respect the return fire of a Josecito Lopez or fighters of that nature. You know what I mean? So, but warp speed goes. I would like for Terrence Crawford to get his behind beat is what I would like.
Why?
You would like that. Like, well, behind beat. You get his ass kicked behind beat. What is that, bro?
I know,
What you be
weirdo.
called,
Nah,
ladies
just kidding.
and gentlemen. There is no danger. This is men speaking.
Ah, this guy. Just kidding. Yeah, man. It's just I, I got a feeling. Look, I like to. I'm high on Bud Crawford, right? But I just feel like um, there's only so much. He's not Superman, bro. Like you cannot go up this many weight classes unless you have power. Like that knockout power. He smothers you power, and he adds the damage points on you. But you need to come packing like you need to put dudes to sleep, bro. Like it's a respect thing when you're inside the ring, and they're not gonna have once they find out how hard Bud actually hits, they're gonna find out that it's like it's solid, it's solid shit. But um, I just feel like eventually, I think 154 he can clean out. 160, a little worried. 168, I doubt it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking. And so it's just when we're talking 168 though. It's like I never even got the opportunity to even start thinking about the 160 pounders.
The only
Pobrecitos.
one that I think he will have the most trouble at 160 is Johnny Beck Alam Kanala.
That's what I'm thinking too,
That's the
bro. Like
only
he's
guy that I think Bud he will struggle badly with. But I think he
yeah, they're
easily beats Carlos Adames. He sparred him way before when they were both welterweights, and Bud did extremely well. In fact, he was beating them. And the same,
yeah,
like, let's say for example, if Terrence Bud Crawford wasn't fighting um Madrimov, who Madrimov is a good fighter. That's why Bivol chose him as his main sparring partner. Had he just went to middleweight, skipped 154, as most welterweights in the past did, they just went from 147 to middleweight, right? Had he fought Carlos Adames, Terrence Bud Crawford's a WBC champion. Carlos Adames,
yeah,
in my opinion, he lost to Terrell Gausha. Terrell Gausha is 39 years old, bro. Bud Crawford
yeah.
tore Carlos Adames up 2 weekends ago or a month ago, whenever that fight took place on the Tank Davis
Mhm.
undercard. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So the only one at 160 that troubles Bud Crawford. I mean, there's probably other 160 fighters. I just don't know too much of them because it's kind of like mediocre, But
Yeah.
Zani Beck Alam Kanalai would be the only one because he's big and he's
Yeah.
creative and he's got power. He's got arm length. That dude's a beast.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, he has a good mirage of combinations, bro, and he changes it up. And they're like unorthodox combinations. I
yeah.
think Johnny Beck is coming up in a very fucking dim division, but I'm kind of high on him, bro. Like yeah, I'm
Who?
I'm high on him on Johnny Beck.
Oh yeah, he's really good, bro.
Yeah, his
Yeah,
offense is
the
like
dude's
top
amazing.
tier, bro. Like top tier. He's capable of going up to 168,
He
and
could be the
it'll
next
actually
Triple G when Triple G was dominating at 160. All of these mediocre fighters. That's what Zani
yeah,
can do. He can have like
yeah,
27 title defenses, and he can be
yeah,
the next Triple G in terms of like, again.
yeah.
Yep, yep, yep.
Oh, I thought you said something right now. I was like, what?
Yeah,
But
yeah. Okay, so basically what I said was like, remember when Triple G was beating all these guys like David Lemieux, then
yeah,
eventually he fought Danny Jacobs, but he was knocking out all of these dudes like Gabe Rosado, just these tough competitors at middleweight, but they weren't like any big names.
hmm,
Basically,
yeah,
Sani Bek Alam Kanalai is doing the same thing. He's fighting guys from Italy. He's fighting guys that we've never even heard of. And I would like to think
yeah,
that we know a lot about the middleweight division, but you
yeah,
can't tell me if I tell you who the top 5 fighters are at 147, you can probably give me the names. If I tell you what are the top 5 fighters at 160, you can probably only give me two: Carlos Adames and Zani Bek.
yeah,
Who's number 3? Who's number 4? Chris Eubank Jr., Liam Smith. Like,
hmm,
okay, if those are top 5, top 10 fighters at 160. Then the middleweight division's got a fucking problem because Liam Smith and Chris Eubank Jr. are great fighters.
yeah. And just 8 pounds is just like I know he can probably handle 160, because it's dim, but it's just 8 pounds. It's 8 pounds, man. A lot of fighters become a lot better at 168 because they actually put on, they need the muscle and they actually have speed along with all with the power. So it's just one, and they're tall, bro. They're over 6 foot, almost all of them. So like, I have we seen Terrence fight a 6 footer? Like
Have you
that's
seen Terrence fight a 6 footer? Yeah, bro.
yeah.
He
Have you?
fought Jose Benavidez Jr. He's 6'1".
What the fuck, Jose?
Yeah, I think Jose Benavidez is like
Nah,
5'11", 6 foot, bro.
nah. Oh, he's 5'10".
Nah, I
Five
was
ten.
close.
Yeah. So that's like us, bro. I mean,
Victor
6 foot,
Postol
bro.
was like 5'11", 6 foot as well.
He's 5'9". I just checked.
Victor Postol?
Mm-hmm.
Damn. I thought he was like 6 foot, bro. Fucking
Yeah.
kid,
So
rangy,
it's
bro.
just
He made
I have
Lucas
this.
look tiny.
Yeah. Like I have this memory of Terrence fighting Jeff, right? And I all the fights that I did, and like the only fights that I didn't see was Kavalaskas. That one and David Avanesian. I've seen pretty much all the other fights. Even he got my attention once he fought. Fuck, who did he fight? I
He
think it was.
struggled versus that Kavalaski, Mean Machine guy.
Yeah, that's what I heard. But Gamboa. That was his introduction to me. That's
Yeah.
when I first seen him right there. Up until that point, I kind of been locked in, like watching this guy. And the fight with Jeff Horn sticks out to me so much, bro, because he was smothering him, bro. I didn't think Terrence was gonna win this fight, bro. When I was watching it, you know.
With Jeff Horn, nah, bro, he pieced Jeff Horn apart.
Yeah, but Jeff Horn was taking those punches very well, and he kept coming forward, kind of like what's his
He
name?
kept coming
Baggett.
forward, but he was not taking those punches well. He looked horrible, bro.
Yeah,
Like
but it
Terrence
wasn't
Bud
turning him
Crawford
off.
had that dude looking like, like if you had a paintball gun, like he was
Yeah.
tatted with fucking shots all over from his back to you're like, damn, bro, what happened to your spine? Why is that shit red? Shoulders, neck. That dude was just pieced apart,
Yeah,
man.
but they're not turning you off though. You know, like
What do you mean turning you off? What does that mean?
because there's a certain amount of pressure you need on your face that your brain cannot take once it gets rattled, and you get dropped to sleep. Now, not everyone has the same tolerance, obviously, but it's just I failed to see that. I failed to see a guy start to. Well, I'm pretty sure he's actually caught some dudes and like slept them. I'm saying. You know, it's the ref stopping it because he's just so in shape and he's wire strength and his hand placement is immaculate. And he's really the epitome of true boxing, really. Because I'm trying to explain that he doesn't have a lot of power, but I'm also saying that he's the best fucking welterweight on the planet. You know, like both things can exist, like both things can be true, and he is the epitome of the science of boxing.
I will say this. Bud
He's not
Crawford,
turning $2 up though.
yeah, Bud Crawford, I will say this. He struggles with fighters with good defense. What I mean by that is Ray Beltran had good defense. And I'm not saying that Bud struggled with him, but like he didn't look that good with him. Like
He
it
met
was
his match.
it was pretty tough for him. It was pretty tricky. Ray
Yeah,
Beltran's also pretty tall. He's like 5'9", 5'10". Hey, you check, he's
yeah.
like 5'7". I don't even know where these numbers come from. And then David
Mhm.
Evasian, um, that dude was hitting Bud Crawford, right? And then
I didn't watch that.
the Mean Machine with good proper defense until he started to tire out and good combination punching and speed. And Jose Benavidez Jr., all of these fighters, these four fighters, did well against Bud Crawford, right? The other guys that are athletic or fight with their hands down, like Felix Diaz, Julius Ndongo, these guys that don't fight that well defensively and protect the face, they get knocked out and they just look horrible. So I preface that to say that Israel Madrimov, I think is going to be one of those tricky fighters for Bud Crawford, where I
Hmm.
think Bud Crawford might get dropped, he might struggle, and then people are going to be like, nah, he can't fuck with Canelo. And I agree. Right now, to your point, if Bud Crawford were to move up 21 pounds, he gets knocked the fuck out by Canelo Alvarez. He looks
Yeah,
worse. He'll give a better fight than Jermell Charlo, but Bud ain't going the distance with Canelo. Because
mm-mm.
I don't think Bud Crawford, if he gets touched by Canelo, he's gonna get that dog mentality. He's gonna be angered and trying to get his lick back. It ain't gonna work against Canelo. Whereas Jermell, when he got dropped, Jermell didn't try to get a lick back. He would just, I'm gonna survive and I'm not gonna get slept. So he's just put on a high guard and started circling and dancing and he just wanted to survive and go the distance. But Crawford, if he gets dropped, he's gonna try to come back at Canelo, and Canelo's gonna knock his ass out even more. So
Yeah,
that's the only difference, but it'll make for a better fight than what Jamel presented. So I
right.
kind of have to ask you this, right? If, yeah, man, I mean, it's just one of those situations that I just like. But I think because we don't know too much about Madrimov, we know that he has 10 or 11 fights. Bud don't really know what to think. We haven't seen the best of Madrimov, right? We don't know what he's capable of. But what we do know is that Bivol, at least this is the most impressive thing for me. Madrimov was doing his best impression of Canelo Alvarez and prepping Bivol for Canelo. And that right there, when you become or get that title of the main sparring partner to emulate a certain style, that's one of the things that can reward you. And you can be like, damn, bro, I actually can become what I envision myself in my head of being, right? So, for example, let me give you another point. Timothy Bradley, when he told Bud Crawford, yo, bro, you're not just a sparring partner. Like your skills, your power, your focus, your dog mentality, you're gonna be a fucking great. And once you find yourself fighting those titles or those champions and those veterans are starting to praise you, then you even get much more confidence in your ability, and you're like, yeah, bro, I can be that guy. If Bivol is telling you guys that Madrimov has that capability, then Madrimov, it's like a boost of confidence. And I think we're going to see and all of his
So
abilities and all of his might against Bud Crawford. This is going to be a tricky fight for Bud
can I
Crawford.
can I point something out as well to add to something, a
Yeah.
little fun fact? So there's a dude that Madrimov fought. Not sure if you've been looking at Madrimov's like resume. There's a dude named Valdemir. I think you have said this too. I feel like I'm repeating what you've said a couple of weeks ago, but Valdemir Hernandez, he fought him, right? This dude also fought. Obviously, he fought Troy Eiley, and he upset Lorenzo Simpson and got knocked out by Alejandro, right?
Yeah, yeah. Vladimir
Ramos.
Hernandez.
Yeah. So Madrimov knocked this dude out in Madrimov's debut. I mean, Madrimov knocked him out in his debut. Sorry, and dudes like Troy Eiley, we speak highly of. He's a 160 pounder, and I think he's actually a formidable opponent. Um, what's his name? Eiley got in a close fight with him too. But
Yeah, Vladimir is good, bro. He's a fucking good,
yeah,
tough fighter. He's one of those guys
Madrimov
that, yeah, yeah, keep going, my bad.
Madrimov Madrimov got him out of there, bro. Like in 6 rounds, bro. So like Madrimov only weighed like 152 and Hernandez 157. So this dude, he's the goods, bro. Like he does things that Troy Eiley can't. He has a different type, a variation of punches. And I'm just looking at this right now, right? I think
You know?
I seen him fight. I actually was watching him fight the because I was betting Kurbanov. I was watching that fight, and
Yeah.
Kurbanov is really hesitant, right? But for some reason, he was matching his energy and being hesitant with him. Like he was waiting for him to do something, and it took too long. He got him out of there, but I was just like, what are you thinking about? Like you look good when you're not thinking and you're just doing. But I see a lot of moments in that fight where I'm like, why are you thinking like you're just literally doing nothing and waiting for him to do something? And it's like that's not gonna work on Terrence, Um Terrence
And
don't
remember
like,
this,
yeah.
Madrimov has Joel Diaz, bro. Joel Diaz is one of my favorite trainers where a lot of people don't give Joel Diaz a lot of credit. That dude, when he brings a fighter, obviously he used to be an ex-fighter himself, but when he starts to get a hand of a fighter and he starts to mold his fighter, there's a reason why Bivol and Madrimov have Joel Diaz in the corner. Joel Diaz is a fucking straight shooter, bro. He's not cookie cutter. He's fucking harsh, straight to the point, fucking Desert Storm heat, man. You know? And when he gets his hands on a fighter, he's kind of like another what's that Cuban trainer? Salas. Like they're not gonna throw in the towel. They're gonna give you straight, harsh discipline. And like look at that fight versus Staniones and Butayev. Like Joe Diaz is
Yeah,
a really great trainer, and
yeah.
he's training Madrimov like Bud Crawford, and Bud Crawford knows this. That's why they're telling us that these are gonna be tough fights. The thing is, to your point, bro, beating Vladimir Hernandez is not an easy feat to do. It's
It's
not
not.
easy to accomplish. Vladimir, damn,
Let alone knock him out.
yeah, man. It's gonna be a very interesting fight for sure. So let me read a couple of these comments. Eric says Jeff Horn got ragdolled. Alex Doss, salute to you, bro. Happy Tuesday, folks. Bud is not beating Israeli. Israeli beating Bud. I got 500 on that fight. Shh. Man,
Oof.
500. I don't know if you got it by decision, but by knockout, I would say decision. 500 will probably win you. I don't know, man. 3,000 back dollars in return. I think the odds are gonna be like plus 600, maybe plus 800. You might win 4,000
Oof.
on that return.
Oof.
Vladimir beat Troy Isley too and got robbed. I don't think so, man. I thought
I
Troy
thought Troy already won.
definitely outboxed Vladimir, but I will say this: that last kid from Milwaukee, we saw him live. I thought the judges did him dirty. I thought that kid from Milwaukee, Javier Martinez, I think that's his
Yeah.
name. I thought he fought to a draw with Troy. I thought that was a good ass fight. They didn't give him any justice, bro. It was like Steve
Really?
Claggett when he fought Teofimo Lopez. Ain't no fucking world
Hey,
that 12-0 fight, bro. Like that shit.
then give me Joe Sean James. Remember the dude that upset Milwaukee?
Uh
Milwaukee
huh.
made him versus Troy. Ooh,
That's
that's a
probably
good
gonna
one.
happen next. Mexican boxing
Yeah.
goes. That's why Israeli is beating Bud. I'm telling you guys, if Me Machine and David gave Bud problems, then for sure in prime 28-year-old Israeli, undefeated champion, big and strong, he definitely beating Bud. Let me highlight that comment because Alex Daw and Mexican boxing number one, my boy, you guys are absolutely fucking correct, man. That style, that well school of Ukrainian boxing, Russian boxing, Soviet Union boxing, whatever it is that you guys want to call it.
Where's he from? Let's see.
These fighters are extremely good. They have look, the fighters
Uzbekistan.
East, yeah, what Uzbekistan, right? That's Triple G,
Yep.
right? Right.
No.
So when those Eastern European fighters come over here, they're only the best ones that are coming over here. The ones that are extremely accomplished, have a big resume. I don't know if he's managed by Igis Klimas. But Igis
Maybe.
Klimas, if he's investing money into you, just buy stock into those fighters because he's not bringing over mediocre fighters. He's bringing the cream of the crop, the best that Eastern European they can offer, right? Madrimov is going to give Bud Crawford a big problem, a big problem. I don't know what kind of problem it's going to be. I don't know if they're going to give him a decision because, again, when Canelo fought Bivol, I didn't think that was a close fight. I thought Bivol won 8 rounds. For sure, it's probably 9 rounds to 3, right?
Hmm.
But the judges, like Canelo makes a loss look pretty. Where it's like, oh man, look at that slick defense, boom, 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 boom. But he's not really scoring points. He's got that good
Yeah.
showmanship at times when he's getting pushed back. He makes you miss like 10 punches, blocking a lot of the gloves, but there's no return fire. And then he'll do like a Muhammad Ali shuffle right there to correct it. And, he'll have a little smug smile on his face. But then
Wait.
he just really add up all the points. You're like, damn, bro, Bivol just outlanded every single round to Canelo, like 10 rounds to 2. But anyway, they gave it to 7-5. They love Terrence Bud Crawford.
Yeah.
The judges love Bud Crawford. So again, I don't know what kind of surprise Israeli Madrimov is going to present to Bud. Could it be a stoppage? Could be an early flash KO. It's going to
God,
be really tricky, man, but it's going to be a really good fight.
dude.
Bomac is
Meg,
worried. Hold on, let me read a couple of these comments.
go ahead.
Bomac is worried about this fight. You can tell when he talked about it. When the Spence fight, Bomac talked confidently about winning. Dude, he's sparring the gold medalist Jovolov. That's
I
crazy.
know. That's
Wait,
crazy.
who? Madrimov?
Yes.
Wow, that's what I'm saying, bro.
Jovalov.
Like, dude, Jovolov is
Jovalov.
crazy. Damn, that dude's like,
Crazy.
hey, bro, what the flip?
He's a heavyweight.
Let me see. No way Bud is beating the guy. He also spars Bivol and fought at 165 versus Troy and was beating him up, and that's Bud's sparring partner.
Bro.
Absolutely. Man, you guys ain't lying right
Bro.
now.
I know.
Bud
Bro, Bud.
knocking out Troy Isley wouldn't surprise me. Word feed goes good even fought at Alex Daw, Eric Batista, and Mexican boxing number one. Israel is knocking out Bud. Wouldn't surprise me.
Bro.
Yo, hold it down real quick.
If,
I got to use the restroom. But
go ahead.
just keep piggybacking off that, bro. They're cooking.
Damn, bro. That shit is crazy, man. You said he was sparring Jolalov, and that blew my mind a little bit. That's what I'm saying, man. He didn't do that. I mean, he did great, against Jeff Horn, right? It's just how Jeff Horn was reacting compared to Manny Pacquiao's punches. Manny Pacquiao was packing the punch. Maybe he was touching him up just as much as Bud. I feel like, but Bud was he had less power. I think his evolution in the welterweight division it has gone. He's improved a lot, right? And it took about 7 fights for him to really up that jab. Up until that Errol Spence fight, that jab was immaculate. We didn't see that jab before. That was new. So man, we speaking highly of Madrimov. I'm like thinking right now, like this is a perfect test. You know, I see what they're doing. Even though he's 10-0, Madrimov has already done some great things, and I just feel like this is gonna be one of Terrence Crawford's like eye-opening moments, right? I think this is where he proves to everyone. Uh, because I just feel like up until last year, he became a pay-per-view star, just barely, you know. And I
Who,
think
Terrence?
he's in, yeah, I think he's in new territory. And I
Nah,
feel
he's not a
like,
pay per view star, but he definitely like increased his stock significantly. You know, if
yeah,
it matters in this day and age who you fight. If he goes fight some Joe Schmo that nobody ever heard of, like Madrimov,
yeah,
even though Madrimov is a legitimate fucking threat, like no one's gonna be like, oh, you know, Bud Crawford's gonna do 500,000 pay per view buys. Now this fight will probably do 150 at best. You know,
yeah.
um,
So,
which is
but
why
yeah,
I
that
stacked it with Andy Ruiz that had Virgil versus Tim Tszyu. That's why it was such a stacked card. Pitbull versus Rayo Valenzuela. Um, Bud Crawford wouldn't be able to sell this fight alone. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. And honestly, I think Crawford is capable of being a pay-per-view star. He just there's a lot of things that Tank does. Obviously, it's his knockouts, but he does a lot of things outside the ring as well that kind of you know boasts his name, and it's obviously his promotion, him being with Al and all this shit. But Terrence still has an opportunity to be that guy. You know, I also feel like never mind. I'm not gonna open that can of worms. But you know, I just feel like you guys are making me want to bet on Madrimov now. I'm like,
I
okay,
mean, why
you
wouldn't
guys,
you, bro? It's
you
like
guys have
like my
convinced me.
boy Giovanni Cabrera, bro. He's got a great chance of beating William Zepeda, man.
Yeah, yeah, dude.
Well,
Honestly,
you know,
I'm.
hold on, let me read a couple of these comments, man. Mexican G goes, keep it. Mexican boxing number one goes, keep it going. Uncle Ruckus, no relation. Canelo beats crawfish easy. Only a strong white man with ambition can beat Canelo, but has been in action well over a year. While Madrimov coming on in a great run. Canelo will beat Boots too. Too many stuff against Bud. Common sense says Israeli is winning, but if Bud is great, then he should beat him. It is going to be interesting. Yeah, look, you guys are on to a lot of things right here. One, to you guys' point, like Bud Crawford is coming off over like a year and 2 months layoff, right? Madrimov had a fight in December when he beat Kurbanov. And to that point, he's moving up a different weight class against an undefeated fighter that nobody really knows a lot about. Um, He's also, Bud Crawford's probably turning 36, 37 years old to Madrimov's, what, 27, 28. So, like, everything right now is in favor of Madrimov. And that's why it would be foolish of us not to put 50, $100 on Madrimov. I mean, the odds are probably going to be like 5-1. You know, if you want to be more specific on a decision, probably 10-1 odds. So, you know, again, to you guys' point, Mexican boxing number one. If Bud Crawford is that dude, he should beat a guy that's inexperienced with 10 fights on his professional career. But what you guys are saying, he's Jololov's the heavyweight, one of his sparring partners. He helped Bivol prepare for Canelo Alvarez. Short, stocky, strong ass dude, intelligence, amateur pedigree, beating Vladimir Hernandez when Orlando Truck Simpson and all of these other fighters struggled with, and this dude is knocking them out. I mean, come on, man. You guys put two and two together. How could you guys not put a wager down? Mexican boxing number one goes, BoxRec says this will be the first time in 6 years that Bud faces a guy under the age under 39 who's in his prime. Hold on, let me read that again. BoxRec says this will be the first time in 6 years that Bud faces a guy under 39 who's in his prime. This will be the toughest fight. Oh, okay, under 30, my bad. So basically, he's always fought in older dudes. Yeah, I would say.
But that means experience, right? Right. Like that also means he's fighting experienced fucking fighters. You
Yeah,
know.
but also remember,
Yeah.
I remember there's a lot of fighters that say at the age of 30, you know, their body starts to change and cutting weight makes it much more difficult. When you're under 30, 25, 26, to your point, you are more experienced after the age of 30, but maybe you suffered a lot of wear and tear. You use your experience to, you know, circumvent the rigors of what you're willing to put and endure when you're in your early 20s, right? So you're like, no, I can cheat this way, I can focus on this way. You know a little bit of, how to cut corners because of the experience. The experience is going to save you, from putting your body in such duress. So that goes a long ways. But yeah, man, I mean, but also to that notion, I know you said, Drew, maybe like 5 minutes ago that Bud Crawford is going to enjoy like being a pay-per-view star. I don't think so, man. I think he's like a couple fights removed in his boxing career where not a lot of people are tuning in on him. Remember, Bud,
Yeah, he lost a little bit. He lost a little bit of steam, right? Waiting.
well, the thing is like he didn't really maximize like after the Errol Spence performance. Like he should not be fighting a dude like Madrimov. Someone that nobody knows of, and it's extremely dangerous. To your guys' point, he's young, he's undefeated. You hear all of these stories that he's, sparring all of these dudes. Like this is a recipe for disaster for where you're coming off an Errol Spence performance, dominant performance where I've never seen a person's face look like that, right? On the still images. You take a whole year off, like you should have fought another popular fighter, but this is not how you maintain, like people forget, right? And you got to keep them like Ryan Garcia, like he just beat Devin Haney, but Ryan is maximizing,
Yeah.
that no decision or the no contest. He's every single day he's interviewing or going back and forth or, beefing with people. By the time the year comes next year and he's, reinstated come April, he's going to have a big fight, probably rematching Tank Davis or, fighting a Pitbull Cruz or rematching Devin. And for the next couple of months, Ryan is just going to be soaking up all this attention and everyone's going to give it to him. So he's going to maximize this no contest where he missed weight and he failed PDs. But Crawford, on the other hand, we almost kind of forgot. Like, damn, bro, like, why couldn't you go fight another popular fighter, beat them? No, he's beating or he's trying to compete against Madrimov, who could just fuck around and steal all his thunder. You know what I mean? Like Lightning McQueen, when he got lost in Radiator Springs and Chick Hicks told, his moniker. I don't know. That's a car reference for you guys if you guys like Disney and Pixar. That's right.
But yeah, man.
You guys saw his latest pick. Damn, he looks fucking strong. At least 180 plus walking around. Wait for reals. Yeah, man, he's a big dude. Big dude. Uncle Ruckus.
Yeah,
people think Crawford is taller. He wins these stupid boxing fans. Canelo has more muscle mass. He adjusted to his natural weight at 168. My guess is Madrimov is walking around 185. I will say this, man. I would like Canelo to go down to 160. I think he looks fantastic at 168.
that's his prime.
But I just feel like at 160, I think that was his best where he still had a little bit of mobility and things of this nature. But obviously, of course, 168 is where like he's making his history and he'll probably campaign there for the rest of his career. But I like his body type at 160. It just looked the best. He still looked fast. Yes, he still looks small in comparison to those guys, but
160 though.
his body size looked great out there. But yeah,
I agree.
man, dude. When is that fight? August 3rd or what?
August. Yeah, that's why I was like, I was about to tap into the undercard, but we can wait. We could wait. A lot of things can get in the way. In the meantime, you don't know who's gonna get injured, but a good undercard. We got Shakur this weekend. If you want to talk about that, but yeah, Crawford. Wouldn't be surprised if he knocks him out, bro. And it's more of a mental thing, I think. Madrimov just hasn't been in those big lights yet. And you never know. Some dudes fight a lot better, under the bright lights. But I just feel like Madrimov is about to get my $100 out of my pocket when I bet on him. Like that's all I'm saying, though. He got you guys got it out of me, and I've been thinking that. I'm thinking Madrimov is really disciplined. He's a European fighter. They're a lot disciplined. They have different philosophy. Eastern European, so they fight. They have a different philosophy, and I just feel like it's a mental thing, because a lot of dudes are, taller, stronger, faster than Madrimov, but it's something that got him to this point. And I feel like, yeah, man, Madrimov is gonna actually make a name for himself. Hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully, he makes me a bigger fan. So this is where we see, this is where we start to see either chinks in the armor of Terrence Crawford, or because that's what they're trying to get out of it. I feel like they're just thinking like Crawford's like, and I'm in agreement. He's the best 147 pounder for there's ever been like in a while, But I just feel like, dude, like this guy is bound to get tested. He's riding off this high horse, and he's gonna continue to ride on it. But there's gonna be, I just feel like they're looking for some chinks in the armor.
Yeah.
Not there's no one in existence besides Floyd that has ever been perfect in the ring. And even Floyd got caught. You know what I'm saying? But Terrence is reaching that.
Finito Lopez was perfect.
Yeah, who?
Finito Lopez. Ricardo Finito.
No, but I'm saying Terrence, bro, like he's reaching that level of perfectionist and greatness. We're trying to, like, that's just the nature of the boxing game. We're trying to shake you. We're trying to see the blueprint, but you're not letting us see it because you just have immaculate defense, immaculate jab. Like you're not allowing anybody to see your the blueprint to beat you, and that's just what goes with the game. Madrimov.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I would rather take Terrence Bud Crawford's career over Mayweather. Cause
Yeah,
see,
yeah,
Bud Crawford
yeah,
always remained quote unquote pretty boy.
right,
He's never got into his money Mayweather face where he became much more how would I phrase this? Defensive. In fact, as
right.
Bud Crawford got older, he lost a little bit of his athleticism and footwork, and he had to rely more on power. So he started
Mhm.
stopping guys like Sean Porter, Errol Spence, and company. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
As Floyd Mayweather got older, he wasn't as aggressive, and he started cherry picking much more. I'm not saying Bud doesn't cherry pick, but I'm just saying like Madrimov ain't no cherry. And Floyd Mayweather would never fight Madrimov. Fucking Floyd Mayweather never wanted to become undisputed. Like, how many
yeah, I
years
know.
did we have to wait for him to fight our boy Pacquiao? You know what I mean?
Right.
And like Bud Crawford, it wasn't really his fault for Errol Spence, deviating, but to Errol Spence's standard. Spence said, "I want to fight my guys first, and then I'll get to you." So he stood by his word. You know, but I would definitely have like if I were to choose, 50-0 is amazing. You know,
Yeah.
but I'd rather go with Bud Crawford's dominance. I felt like his level of dominance is superior to that of Mayweather's, because Mayweather had to cherry pick and he circumvented a lot of fights. Not saying that he couldn't lose. Guys like Marcos Maidana, are very tough fights. But like
Hmm.
Mayweather don't really have any Felix Diaz on his resume. He don't have
Hmm.
any Victor Postol on his resume, you know. And that's one thing that I would like favor over Bud Crawford's over Floyd Mayweather's career is like he actually like Bud
Face
Crawford
different
is a
styles.
hardcore favorite, like a hardcore fan's favorite in the sense that he was beating all of these dudes that guys like Danny Garcia refused to fight, right? And that's
Right.
Postol and company. But where speed goes, Ray Mancini, right? No, I don't think so. I think Ray lost once or twice. Let me see. Mexican boxing goes. Uncle Ruckus goes. Canelo made 175 for Kovalev. Crawford had never fought at light heavyweight. Crawford stands no chance. I saw this Vladimir versus Israel Madrimov fight because I was curious to see how everyone had issues with Vladimir, and he gets hurt by him, but wanted to see how special Israel was. And wow, he has amazing footwork. Yeah, as we're talking and I'm reading the comments, I'm watching this fight. Yeah, he's got amazing footwork. He's very
Hmm.
athletic. He slips a lot of punches, uses high guards. Usually, I'm watching right now in the third round. Yeah, he's really good. And this must have been like,
Hey,
I
you
don't know.
keep saying ooh. You keep saying ooh. I'm about to deposit $500.
Nah.
I'm just kidding.
Let me see this. He stopped dude, just piecing him up so fast with his footwork and has real power. He hurt Vladimir like that. Yeah, he dropped him right now in the third round with a barrage of punches. Nah, he's way too strong. He pushed everybody back, but cannot overcome that. And Ricardo Finito Lopez. Yeah, man, it's gonna be a very interesting fight. I will say this. Vladimir Hernandez is a pressure fighter, and he's a very strong one as well, and he's willing to take a punch to hit a punch. Bud Crawford ain't gonna be like that. And Valamir doesn't really have like impeccable head movement, right? And he's always looking to press the action. So I'm not saying that he became like a, like an easy target for Madrimov, not at all. But I think you'll see that Bud is gonna
I
be
think
very meticulous and he's gonna
I
be
think
very like scared
yeah.
to throw his punches. So he could make it like a little bit of a boring fight. But Madrimov has a lot of advantages, man. He also has extremely long arms, and that's one
Yeah.
of Bud Crawford's best asset. Is that Bud is always kind of slapping and establishing the lead hand dominance, swatting down jabs. But I don't know if he can do this with Madrimov. Madrimov
And
is defensively sound. He has this nice poke counter where he's always like leaning back. He's extremely athletic and not the American level of athleticism. He's got the Eastern European athleticism, which is a little more stiff, but regardless, it's impeccable and it can
mhm.
definitely trouble Bud. It's gonna be a good fight, man. It's gonna be a really.
And
I think it'll go the distance for sure. Unless one of these guys gets dropped, then they're gonna press the action. And I rather think that Bud Crawford gets flash dropped. And I don't think I see Madrimov getting flash dropped, bro.
yeah.
It's
And
gonna be
if you think about it, bro, Valdemar was fighting at 160. He got knocked out at 154 by Madrimov.
yeah.
You know, so that's another thing to kind of point out right there. Madrimov is low key different. From the other 154 pounders. Um, so yeah, you guys are talking big game to me, man. I'm soaking it up, and you guys make me want to bet on Madrimov.
But
Madrim,
have the odds came out yet? Nah, huh?
fuck, I don't know, dude. I doubt it. I doubt it.
Yeah,
But
I don't really see it, man. I don't really see it. But I'm really big, man. I'm really big right now on Giovanni Cabrera, bro. I think
ooh,
Giovanni Cabrera can win by decision against
this weekend,
William Zepeda. He's plus 1,400, bro.
when's that fight?
This weekend,
Ooh,
Saturday, after 4th of July. It's gonna be a very good fight, bro. Like, look, the reason all right, let's talk about Giovanni Cabrera because I went live, talking a little bit about it, and
when?
there's a
No
lot of
invite.
interviews that he's coming out with and he's saying. So I'm gonna read you a couple, and you can read them on Boxing Scene. But Boxing Scene, they asked him, not many people want to fight William Cameron Zepeda. Why do you? And he goes, I think some people are looking for safe ways to a title. And I've made a reputation for myself. Although many people may or may not know, I've beaten 7 undefeated coming up fighters, 3 of them being Southpaw. Ray Lampkin Jr., who was an Olympian alternate, Elijah Pierce, and these fights have aged well. And I beat another lefty, Luis Poroso, who was 14-0 when I fought him. I've been in these positions before. And this is what it takes. It allows me to elevate, to rise to the occasion. I need excitement, and I want to fight good fighters. Boxing Scene goes, you fought a lot of these tough fights off television. Did that prepare you mentally for these hard fights? The toughest survive. It's survival of the fittest. I didn't get an easy path to be here, and there were people around me who were a little bit reckless with my career. I took it as a chip on my shoulder saying, okay, not only am I going to show you, but I'm going to show everybody, including myself, that I am a contender. This is Giovanni Cabrera saying this, right, as he's being interviewed. Let me skip a couple of them just to get you guys the nitty-gritty. Are you going to slow down the volume punching of Zepeda? Absolutely. He's got all of these guys that stay right in front of him. They're pretty predictable. It's all about offsetting the rhythm and using different angles, right? I'm a southpaw. I don't know how many southpaws he's fought, but I've beaten 3 undefeated ones, and I know exactly what it takes to beat a southpaw. I'm not a conventional fighter, so I'm going to be tricky for him. Volume, and a lot of people can throw 100 punches on the heavy bag when the heavy bag don't move. You know what this sounds like, bro? This sounds like Sander Martin versus Teofimo Lopez. I got Giovanni Cabrera with the decision over Zepeda, bro.
Yeah, dude. Hey, can you hear my dryer in the background?
Yeah, I think it was you or right here, somebody trying to cause some
No, I think
ruckus.
it's me.
Nah, man, but
It's my dryer. My bad.
look, man, unless let me see if Speed wants to hop on, but I have to just like organize some stuff, man, and get ready to pack it up and go home. But there's a lot of talk about. Obviously, we opened the can of worms talking about Madrimov, but yeah, I'm in agreement with you guys, man. I
Hey,
think this is gonna be a very tough, tricky fight for Bud, and I definitely see Bud losing. I think it's gonna be one of those situations where he's trying to pick up another title, probably 2 now, right? at a particular weight class, like when Canelo thought Bivol was easy pickings, and next thing you know, I'm fucking down 9 rounds to 3 in the championship round, and I gotta look for a knockout. But these dudes that are much bigger, are fucking throwing a lot of punches and not stopping. I think Bud is gonna walk into his first Bivol, and I think that's Madrimov. What Bivol is to Canelo's career, Madrimov is to Bud, and Bud's gonna come up short.
Hey,
Uh,
I got another upset alert for you.
yeah, he's gonna be defensive. He's too tricky on the offensive side. Nah, I saw Israel stopping him. He ain't hurting Israel. He's got triple G chin. Yeah, too risky for Zepeda. He arguably beat bested Bitboy and dropped him. Cabrera takes a lot of zeros. He outboxed and now outclassed Elijah Garcia in his hometown. Yup, only Elijah Pierce. Only thing he doesn't have is power, but he has a chin and he's hard to drop. Giovanni. Yeah, he's got a fucking chin, bro. That's the only thing I don't like about Giovanni Cabrera is his posture and his hands down. And I know that he's got power, except that fencing-like style that he has, that diffuses and de-escalates a lot of the offense of his opponents. That's the only reason why he can't drop people. But if he were to just to sit down in his punches and become like more or less, quote unquote, a typical Freddie Roach fighter, I think he can be like Joan Cepeda when he dropped Ivan Baranchenko. I think Giovanni's got power, but that posture doesn't really allow him to like get the most leverage out of his shots. Americans haven't figured out the new European school of boxing. They either lose or win, and they look bad versus the new school of European boxing. Well, to be honest with you, there's only a few Europeans that come over here and dominate. Like how often do you see a Triple G, a Kovalev, a Madrimov, a Jolalov? Not really, So you can't really prepare for a style that isn't quite prevalent in the American, boxing scene, right? Professional. Like for example, a lot of the black gyms, they know the Mexican come forward style because there's a lot of gyms in Los Angeles, Arizona, and Mexico. They're prevalent, so they're already used to that pressure style. To your point, not a lot of Eastern Europeans, and when they do come over here, they're fucking damn near perfect, like a Lomachenko, like a Triple G. Like you can't really prepare for that style because it doesn't really exist here in the American boxing scene. You get what I'm saying? But go for it, Drew.
Yeah.
We'll clean up, man,
Yeah.
and just do your thing.
Yeah, man. I got another upset. Are you leaving?
No, well, I'm close to be leaving.
Okay,
But,
let me know when you leave that. But I got one.
do your thing. I'll be here.
Okay, yeah. So I got one for you. So yeah, I think Cabrera has a very like more than the solid chance of beating him. I think he does beat him. Um, it's crazy that he's like actually the underdog, right? So yeah, no, I think Cabrera can edge it out. I'm definitely not adding that to a Madrimov parlay. Maybe like a $2 parlay or some shit. But yeah, no, that's a solid one pick. But I think I got another one for you. But I'm so heavy on this, bro. I'm like amazed, bro, that how confident I am in this dude right now. Robson Consenso. I think he beats Shaq
Oshaku?
Foster. I think he beats Shaq Foster, bro. I'm I'm
Damn.
standing I'm standing so hard on that, bro. I don't even like I gotta kind of calm myself down because I'm about to like bet a lot of money on this guy, but I have to like chill out and tell myself why is this guy the underdog, And I think it's just his style, right? He goes in there to fight. He doesn't. I feel like he doesn't go in there to fucking like. He goes in there to win, But he's always down. He's always down. It's just the reason why I'm going for a consensus is because he's got really heavy hands and he's super consistent. Um, and I think Shaq is the weakest link as far as like his division. I think when he came up, he was like one of the in the amateurs. He was like one of the top dogs, like in the amateurs. He was sparring at the Olympic Center. So that says a lot. Not a lot of people are going to get an invite at that gym, But I think Robson Consenso, he is an Olympic gold medalist. Dude,
Yeah.
this guy has given everyone problems, bro. If you give Navarrete problems, dude, I think Navarrete beats fucking Shaq Foster, bro. Or he has a solid chance, but I'm not sure if they're gonna fight. But dude, I think Consenso is a super live dog, bro. Like
I think he's
I'm
a
like,
live dog as well. But I'm gonna say this: Abraham Nova is a good boxer. You know, Abraham Nova is pretty good. Now, a lot of people remember themselves of Abraham Nova because Robeisy Ramirez knocked him out like in 4 rounds, right? But if I'm not mistaken, Abraham Nova fought at 126 for that title shot opportunity, and he was weak. When Nova's a pretty big dude, so like 130, 135 would be his best attribute. You know, like that's where he'd be the strongest and at his best. At 126, you know, he became very chinny because obviously he was weakened. So that's why Robeisy Ramirez was able to piece him apart. But if you go look at that fight, Abraham Nova was putting hands on Robeisy until he got caught with a chin, and you know his punch tolerance wasn't the same.
yeah,
I preface that because at 130 he was actually much stronger, and he gave O'Shaquie Foster. I thought he beat O'Shaquie Foster. Obviously, you can say the difference of the knockdown. It was a really close fight, but even with the knockdown, I thought Abraham Nova secured a lot of rounds. Like Abraham Nova just beat the kid from Las Vegas, and Andres Cortez. You know, be that as it may, Robson Conceição is good, and I understand his background pedigree, but yeah, you know, that's a good fight, bro. That's a good fight.
yeah,
I'm
because
not
like I
really too big on O'Shaquie Foster, but I didn't know what O'Shaquie Foster was capable of. Because you know, he beat Ray Vargas, and I thought the PBC fucked over Ray Vargas because he just became a champion at 126, beating Mark Magsayo, and then immediately he goes up to 130, fucking to lose to O'Shaquie Foster. That was some bullshit. But be that as it may, O'Shaquie Foster showed me a lot when he went to Tijuana and fought Rocky Hernandez. I didn't know that he was capable of having that chin and fighting a Mexican style of
yes,
fight. And that right there,
yeah,
I've yet to see Robson Conceição fight like that.
yeah,
Now
dude,
you can
Shaq.
say Navarrete fight, but nah.
Yeah, you just made me think about that. Shaq showed me something, and it was in Puerto Rico or something like that, right? Like that one, he showed heart, bro, and that's why I was like, okay, he's here to fight too. Like he didn't just come out of nowhere. He's been here. You know, I feel like Shaq hasn't had enough experience under the big lights. He's getting it though. He's getting it. It's just Robson is game and he's consistent and he fucking lands hard punches, bro. Like this is going to be his hardest fucking puncher right here. I was gonna say opponent, but his hardest puncher because I mean styles makes fight. Ray Vargas isn't hitting as hard as Consenso. You know, Consenso has punches coming from every
Hey, just
angle,
a heads
bro.
up, unless Speed wants to chop it up, I'm a close. I'm gonna be
All
out.
right,
Well, you can
all
you
right.
can you can still carry if you want. But yeah, guys, look, man, I gotta
I'm gonna
wrap
go,
it
bro.
up. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Mexican boxing #1. Salute to you, bro. I'll see you guys on the next one, man.